Okay, so now we are finished with our second unit and going into our third, which is the tech to pop translation. So let's take a minute to look at what we'll be doing for the next couple weeks in this unit. So assignment 3. Your boss wants your group to draw new talent, investors, young minds, and generally engage the public with the work of your field through a popular presentation of your research. She has decided that she wants to reach a younger audience by creating a comic addressing a gap in general knowledge, a misconception, or some other problem your field has. Before you create the comic, however, she would like you to analyze one other type of popular translation that has tackled a similar topic to be sure your comic is as effective. So the rhetorical moves of the popular translation that you choose to analyze, whether it be a Radio Lab, a TED Talk, RSA Animate, any tweet, social media, museum exhibit, should be specific. So you need to include quotes, screen captures, and pictures, and substantially different from the comic book. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to pick a problem. You're going to find some kind of popular translation that has addressed that problem or is addressing that problem, and you're going to do an analysis of that. And you should be specific. Again, you need to include quotes, screen captures, and pictures that to help describe and demonstrate what that popular translation is doing. In this assignment, you will 1, describe the concept you're addressing in an easy to understand way. 2, create a comic strip based on your research. And 3, include a justification and explanation as to how and why your comic strip will be effective in achieving your goal. So imagine, again, that you are writing to your boss and that she wants you to take a problem in your field and create a comic strip that will address an audience and help demonstrate the problem and create a solution. So the assignment 3 general requirements are that it needs to be 2 to 3 single-spaced pages, not including images. Your introduction should both describe what you are doing and why you are doing it. So what problem are you addressing in your field? A misconception, a lack of people researching something, etc. You need to set up the audience and let them know what misconception you're addressing, what problem you're addressing. You need to include analysis of one other type of popular translation. You need to be sure that you quote and provide images of your source. You need to include 3 images formatted according to our Common Errors worksheet. And you need to end with an explanation as to why the comic strip you create will be effective. So you need to compare it and contrast it to your example. There should be an audience analysis within the explanation. Note, if you feel strongly that another medium is more appropriate for your issue, a mock TED Talk, a podcast, a social media page, and you feel confident in your ability to create this popular translation, you may do that, but you need to discuss it with me in advance. So the kind of basic guideline is that we're all going to be doing comics, but if you decide that you would rather do a different one and you know how to do it, you are comfortable with the media and the tools that you need to use to create it, that is absolutely fine, but please do contact me before you do it, and be sure to ask me any questions and make sure that you're hitting all the guidelines still. So let's look at an example problem that someone might address. So a lack of women in the field of engineering. So this is a problem. Another is a misunderstanding about the dangers of fracking or a fear of the wrong parts of fracking. A problem might be a lack of knowledge on what to do in a tornado, a lack of interest or knowledge of young people in your major. So these are some example problems that could be possible topics, and finding a popular translation and then creating a comic strip to address it more effectively. Note that the best possible problems for this experiment will be those in which the scientist fails to consider and serve a specific population of users. So it's going to be whatever popular translation you find. Where its fatal flaw is going to be is in effectively addressing its audience or serving a specific population of users. This is why audience analysis is really important to this one. Okay, so let's look at the introduction. What is your problem and to whom are you writing? So you need to demonstrate exigence. You should introduce the purpose or objective of your report, why you're writing, what problem is your popular translation analysis, and proposal attempting to solve. So you really need to situate the reader, which will, be me, but imagine it's your boss. You're pitching this to your boss. But yes, we need to be situated, and we need to see why it's important. Why are you pitching this idea, and what are the main elements of it? Why are you writing? What is the problem? What are you attempting to solve? Audience, you should introduce the specific audience you are attempting to create your popular translations for. So is it 5th grade science students, homeowners in floodplains, etc.? You need to let us know who this popular translation is for, what specific community of users or specific demographic are you reaching to in this. And this needs to be related directly to that problem, right? That the problem is occurring specifically in this area or for these users. Ideally, this audience analysis will take the form of a user persona. And then the intro should briefly introduce one specific source you've chosen. This says 3, scratch that out, we're doing 1. You don't need to analyze them, just tell your reader what they are. So within the analysis, you're going to be looking at that source. So what is your example and what is it that the example you've chosen is doing and why is it doing it? So you should include some reasoning behind your chosen or why you've chosen the source that you did. Why you chose this example and not another one, and how is the source suitable for your audience and problem. So let us know why it is you chose this. You need to describe the rhetorical moves of the source with specific examples. So what is this popular translation? Is it a TED Talk? Is it a website? Is it a social media page? What is it? What does it do? So what is it doing? How is it communicating? How does it do it? And why does it do it? How will it specifically serve your audience? So basically, you want to describe why this source is designed the way it is. Your source should have some kind of infographic in it, and you should include pros and cons of your source. So you're obviously making a comic to more effectively address the audience that you're looking at, but you also need to talk about how the other source that you've chosen that you're looking at, the other popular translation, what's good about it as well, because it can't be all bad. So in the analysis, talk about its strengths and its weaknesses. So in the proposal, what should we do? You're going to summarize the takeaways from your analysis section, from your pros and cons. You're going to explain what you've learned to avoid and what you've learned works well. You're going to apply what you've learned from your analysis section to solve the problem from your introduction. And you're going to generate a specific proposal for your popular translation. Again, we'll be focused on comics for this assignment. That applies the techniques you've learned from the analysis section. And you'll calculate the feasibility of your final proposal. So basically tell us why this is the best option, of course, according to feasibility measures like time, capital, manpower, etc., using that chapter from Anderson that you will read. So here's an example real quick that we can look at to as a popular translation. So it's a Radiolab. The episode is called The Bitter End. So the problem that's being addressed is that people are uninformed about the choices that can be made during end-of-life care. Doctors are too often present aggressive treatment as the only choice. So this is the problem. The solution is provide a resource in which doctors discuss their own end-of-life decision-making processes. So you've got the problem there and a solution. The rhetorical moves that are made here. So how does the product need to be designed to help patients? That's what we would call the rhetorical moves that are being made. It's addressing this question. How does the product need to be designed to help patients? So you're going to think of ethos, pathos, and logos. Surprise, to surprise someone, to humanize medicine, to highlight choice, and to provide comfort. So these are the moves that it's specifically making. So using, those three elements, ethos, pathos, and logos, to kind of surprise the readers, again, to humanize medicine. To this solution is that doctors are talking about their own decisions that they're making, to highlight choice, so it's not just one option, and to provide comfort. So these, when you're doing a rhetorical analysis of the way that the solution is set up, we see all of these present. All right, so now your homework is going to be to choose the problem that you will be focusing on as you create your comic and your proposal. Good luck, and I hope that you have fun with this.